We know awkward fighters. Real fighters know awkward fighters. He's not an awkward fighter. He's just a dumbass fighter.
You trying to kill me or I'm trying to kill you. You know, after this, let's go in here and make this money. You know, it's more of a business tactic than anything.
Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. Give the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're going to do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're going to spot us somehow.
At the press conference, Gervonta Davis turned up the heat by issuing a direct threat to Jake Paul. He delivered a stern warning, vowing to end the fight in devastating fashion and leave no room for debate about the result. Davis declared that he's coming to knock Jake out and secure the payday, showcasing unwavering confidence in both his power and determination.
He's a fighter that just started fighting. That's, you know how when somebody first come in the gym and like yeah. When somebody first come in the gym and they've been coming for like a little minute, so they think they nice now. They ain't get all the everything down pat, but that's how he fight. I don't think he's not he's an awkward fighter. Awkward is someone, I don't want to call him names, but awkward is like different from him. He's not awkward. We know awkward fighters. Real fighters know awkward fighters. He's not an awkward fighter. He's just a dumb fighter.
Eddie Hearn didn't mince words when giving his take on the unusual showdown between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. He pointed out the clear divide between real boxing and staged entertainment, insisting this fight belongs squarely in the latter. To him, it's not about skill or sporting credibility, but simply a spectacle built to draw attention. Hearn even laughed at the matchup, calling it ridiculous, and emphasized that people shouldn't confuse these exhibitions with top-level professional boxing. His remarks echo the concerns of traditional promoters who fear that entertainment-driven bouts are overshadowing the true spirit of the sport.
Getting Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. What can you tell me about that? What can you tell me about why Jake and Anthony has maybe been put to the side for now?
Yeah, they always told us that it was, we were looking at that fight in February of next year, and they always said that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis 6 months ago or something? I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then, but I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept, and that's what that is. It's a freak show, it's entertainment, it's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, with, I don't know, is it bigger gloves and certain minutes per round, I don't know what it is, but I understand the market, and I understand this freak show shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between, just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't going to do good business. However, you want to be involved with it is another kettle of fish. I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers.
Ariel Helwani offered a different angle, noting that MMA fans often embrace and even celebrate unconventional spectacles, while boxing audiences tend to react negatively to the same. He argued this reflects an unfair double standard. In his view, the Davis versus Paul fight may not represent pure boxing, but it still carries entertainment value that many will enjoy. Helwani stressed that it shouldn't be judged by the standards of title fights or sanctioned events, but rather appreciated as a one-off spectacle. For him, if fans can accept novelty matchups in other combat sports, boxing audiences should also be able to enjoy this contest without undue criticism.
Fight at, generally, I'm sure it'll be a little bit closer, maybe 200 to 150, how much bigger can Tank get? Why would that be somewhat celebrated in MMA, but in boxing it isn't? You know what I mean, PT? In MMA, like, we sort of love the freak shows, but in boxing, they don't. Why do you think that is? What does that say about us in MMA?
Well, we're a sick bunch of fucks, there's no doubt about that. But I will say...
You agree, right, or no?
Yeah, like, the idea of the MMA freak show is everybody coming together and saying, oh, we're going to watch a freak show. This is what this is. We know what this is. It is absolutely mental, what we're going to watch here. I think where people get annoyed with Jake is like, he even got me. You know what I mean? This guy is the greatest outright farmer of all time. I saw his tweet and I was like, reading it, you know what I mean? And I was like, well, this is exactly what he fucking wants me to do. This is every time I'm doing this, he's in the game of getting eyeballs, and this is ridiculous. As long as why do I like an MMA freak show? Why would I watch Eddie Hall in an MMA fight against Dylan Dennis? I'll be like, this is fucking ridiculous, and I have to watch it. That's the way I feel about Jake Paul and Davis. I will watch it. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's all of us getting together to go to the circus for the evening. I think the reason why there's pushback against it when Jake does it is because Jake, and obviously tactically, is going like, what are you talking about? This guy's a world champion. I took out Mike Tyson. He's a world champion. And then I'm going to take out Canelo and stuff like this. Like, he's winding us up. He's not agreeing to the stipulation that we're all agreeing on, which is this is a freak show. This is absolutely mental. As long as we can agree with that, we can all enjoy it collectively.
Chael Sonnen took a harsher stance, dismissing Jake Paul's legitimacy as a boxer. He argued that the Paul brothers lack true boxing ability and instead use their fame and wealth to line up high-profile opponents. Sonnen pointed out Jake's pattern of targeting legends or respected fighters despite the obvious gap in technical skill. In his view, these matchups aren't about fair competition, but about leveraging money and influence to stay in the spotlight. His blunt critique echoed the sentiment of many who see this fight as a cash grab rather than a genuine showcase of boxing talent.
Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. Give the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're going to do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're going to spot us somehow. Tank has one job, that it doesn't make any difference. That boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skill, of which I am an abundance of, and of which you have none of. Tank is telling anybody that will listen that there's a size problem. My skills and my experience in boxing, I do not have to wonder who's in the bar tonight. Any bar I go to, I rule the bar. No, it turns out that you don't. You need some big guy to warn you. Apparently, boxing has never stood its ground. Boxing has never been able to explain why Floyd needed a half hour to get rid of a guy who's never boxed before. Hank Davis has already began this. When you choose a dum-dum, don't be surprised when he goes out and acts like a dum-dum.
One of the most talked about aspects of this exhibition is the significant size gap between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. Davis is a natural lightweight, while Paul competes closer to cruiserweight, creating a major disparity in weight. This mismatch has sparked speculation that the fight might already be set up. Analysts argue that regardless of the outcome, Jake Paul stands to gain more than Davis. A win for Paul would boost his credibility as someone who defeated a star boxer, while a win for Davis would likely be brushed off as meaningless because of the size difference. These doubts have only fueled rumors that the fight's result could be orchestrated to advance Paul's career.
He should beat Jake Paul, shouldn't he?
No, he shouldn't.
You don't think? Sorry, so I think we're all unanimous here. Do you think Jake Paul beats Gervonta Davis?
70 pounds is 70 pounds.
Gervonta Davis is very small. 5'5".
He's tiny, bro.
He's
That's
got
what I'm saying.
Jake Paul
He's a little
6'1".
man.
If Jake Paul's tucking up
Move on.
and absorbing punishment, walking forward. Look, there's a way to run it.
Ryan Garcia drew parallels between this event and past controversial boxing matchups, like Mike Tyson's exhibitions that fans never really asked for. He admitted that the public isn't clamoring for Davis versus Paul either, yet pointed out that the sport often moves ahead with such spectacles regardless. Garcia emphasized the glaring size difference, noting that Davis is far smaller than Paul, which makes the fight inherently unbalanced. In his view, even if fans dislike the matchup, they'll be forced to accept it because hype and financial motives are what ultimately drive these kinds of events.
But that's a fucking disgrace of a fight. You know it. Just like Mike Tyson, low-key was a disgrace, but we accepted it. But he was 60 years old. I mean, the casuals don't see the weight difference. They see Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. And if Gervonta Davis doesn't fuck up Jake Paul, they're going to think Jake Paul is some pound-for-pound champion type of fighter. Gervonta Davis is he's actually really small. Like when I fought him, he's small. So I just think it's a very unfair fight.
Jake Paul escalated the rivalry with one of his trademark publicity stunts, releasing a video in which he smashed a cake modeled after Gervonta Davis. The move was a clear attempt to mock and provoke his opponent, while also sparking a wave of online attention. Known for his flair in promotion, Paul once again proved his knack for creating headlines and amplifying the drama around the fight. The destruction of the tank-shaped cake served as a reminder that Paul relies just as much on mind games and spectacle as he does on his performances in the ring. Seeing Gervonta Davis face off against someone as big as Jake Paul will be a surreal sight. The size gap is almost laughable, yet Davis brings clear advantages in skill, speed, and defensive mastery. His sharp footwork allows him to glide around the ring and evade power shots, making him a tricky target. Paul will likely try to impose his size and reach, but landing clean blows on a smaller, elusive opponent like Davis won't be easy. With Davis's defense and counterpunching creating openings, the real intrigue lies in the clash of styles, elite skill versus raw size.
So crazy. Why is Gervonta Davis fighting a guy that big? There is some interest to that because you're not going to see Gervonta Davis. You're going to be able to see Gervonta Davis's feet. That's what I'm going to be interested to see because I don't think Gervonta's going to jump out there and try to run up into Jake Paul and try to knock Jake Paul out. What I think Gervonta is going to do is Gervonta is going to move his feet, just going to move, make Jake Paul miss a lot, make Jake Paul look really dumb just by using defense on him and making him swing at the wind. Because that is going to be very tough for him to hit a guy that is that little. If you play basketball, for example, and you are a tall 6'1" guy and you try to stand in front of some 5'8", real quick 5'8" guy, trust me, their first steps are going up out of there, those little teeny weeny dudes. So that's going to be very fun and interesting to watch how that goes down. Now, on the other side, you know what Jake Paul's going to do. He don't have no consciousness. He doesn't have a conscience about what he's trying to do. He's going to go in there try to hurt a 60-year-old Mike Tyson. He don't care. He wanted to hit Nate. He's way bigger than Nate Jones when he fought Nate Jones. You think he didn't care about hitting Nate Jones upside the head? He's definitely going to be looking to try to get as much as he can get off on Gervonta Davis and I see him trying to run up on him, trying to maul him, trying to grab him, trying to club him, trying to do all kind of craziness, man. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting thing to watch. Now, let me tell you what I really hope, and I haven't seen for this particular card, but I know I know it's going to be good, which is the undercard. The undercard for the Canelo Alvarez fight and Terrence Crawford fight is absolutely horrendous. There's nothing on the thing that would make you want to watch to tune into that thing